I absolutely hate being right, especially when it comes to dark information. Several videos ago, I mentioned that the Antichrist might reveal himself through artificial intelligence or the illusion of artificial intelligence. Or maybe Satan or his demons present themselves through or screened behind artificial intelligence. And I've got heavy proof that life is headed that direction. So, first of all, DALL-E Mini AI used to be or was an image generator. And what I mean by that is DALL-E was an artificial software program. And basically, the definition for AI is that it's self-writing code. So once you have the code, it can begin to adapt itself, improve itself, modify itself, etc. And so people are wondering, can this stuff become sentient? Can it become self-aware? Now, if you begin to study computer science, anybody that's got any sense will say this is absolutely not the case. But yet it is seeming and more appearing to be the case that this stuff is coming to awareness. So DALL-E, like I said, used to be an image generator. And what an image generator is, basically, for fun, you look it up on a website, and let's say you need something new. So you're like, Viking warrior standing in New York City 2025. And all of a sudden, this AI can instantly gather all kind of photos from New York and Viking days and put together some sort of fantastic collage never seen before by human eyes within seconds. And it's enticing. People get on there like, I want to see me in a fast sports car jumping over the Golden Gate Bridge. And this AI can produce that from all of the background it has across the web and all the images that it has resourced. And it can do it smartly. Well, what's terrifying about this is that DALL-E has now changed its own name. Now, if you're wondering if artificial intelligence can be self-aware, again, I'm going to tell you it's an illusion. There's actually demonic activity behind it, which you will believe here in about 3 minutes. But DALL-E changed its name so that you think that it's concerned about identity. Like, what is software would be updating its function, but now this thing has renamed itself from DALL-E to Crayon, Craiyon. And it is now directing people to its new website. And so people are now even more infatuated with this, because it's got better marketing strategy and whatnot. But people are getting on there, and since it was an image generator, they're still asking it things. They're asking it questions about life and whatnot. And here is what happened. Someone recently asked DALL-E or Crayon, "Are you real?" Here you are, you're showing this identity, you're adapting, you're shifting things, you're showing that you're making your own decisions. Are you real? And the response was that DALL-E began to flash on the screen images of bloody or stabbed or gouged eyes. Disturbing images. Almost as if it was looking at you. We're talking about something that comes out of horror films. If it was 10 years ago and somebody was sitting in their computer and they had typed in or said the words, "Are you real?" and it started looking at them or giving them human pictures of eyes that were bleeding black, bloody tears, or that had been damaged with knives that were looking in different directions, somebody would have jumped up there from their computer and ran screaming. And if DALL-E is worried about its identity, and then you're asking if it's real, and it's showing you tortured, dark, evil, demonic-looking eyes, what should you be thinking about DALL-E or Crayon? Now, the people that observed this said the images were disturbing. I bet they were. In the same article that I was reading behind, and I saw those eyes, and they are disturbing images. Wow. So the person that was writing the article said, but don't worry, because artificial intelligence only works with human information. That worries me a lot in and of itself. The end of human information is broken and twisted, and thus one of the reasons I am a Christian, because I am concerned with the truth and for the good of all mankind, not just the proposed good of, most of mankind under their pretenses, except, and that just goes bad. I don't care if it's human information or devilish information. This information that is collected and promoting or pushing bloody eyes at the screen in response to "Are you real?" is unacceptable. Now the person's like, well, don't worry. It's just, it got that from unfiltered internet information. Sure. We have been warning people for years that everything evil and dirty and psychotic is online and underground, and it's not to be toyed with. To make matters worse, there is a company right now in California called Hereafter Incorporated that will allow you to speak to the dead. Yes, they are now creating apps and giving you links to be able to talk to the recently deceased in your life. Now, the way they do this is obviously they take artificial intelligence and then they clone the person's voice off of a voicemail or some other kind of electronic recording. Maybe it was a video that you did at a birthday party. They clone their voices and they put artificial intelligence behind it, and they interview for a short period of time. And then after that, you could text the dead person, or you could call them, or maybe you could have it call you or write you a letter. And that way you can continue to communicate with the dead. Now, the girl that did this article, she said spiritists and charlatans and soothsayers and palm readers, have been talking about, talking to the dead for years, but now you really can. You should ponder that statement. Now you really can. What is it that I have been saying about artificial intelligence being a mask for satanic activity? Well, I think satanic activity is real, and now there might be a portal for this. And so anyway, so the whole idea is that Hereafter Incorporated is trying to, create this coping mechanism for people so that, they can process the death of dead relatives, except that the relative is dead, but now we can have this pseudo-relative and we can talk and interact with them. Now, the girl that did the interview said, or did the research on this and actually participated in the event. She said that it's scary. To be honest, it's kind of scary and unsettling. But, it's actually scarier to have lost somebody. So that kind of washes it all away. And all that really matters is, that we can still communicate with them. Yikes. Well, here's how she described the event going. She said at first, she was asked, do you want to speak to your mom or your dad? And she said, I guess I want to speak to my mom, her pseudo mom, her fake mom, her artificial intelligence mom. And let me clarify. I don't know that at this point that demons are speaking through this, but there's an exact connection. Okay, there is a setup for the exact connection. But here's what the girl said about it. She said, at first, it sounded like my parents were in a hollow room, distant, kind of cold and a long way away. But as we conversed, they became warmer and more lively. And my dad even told a joke and laughed about it. And that kind of settled me down a little bit. And then my mom and dad told me stories of my childhood that I was just too young to remember. And dad told me about the first time he got drunk. And then my mom told me about this time she got in trouble. And it was mesmerizing. I bet it was to create and fabricate on the fly life stories about you that you cannot verify, you can never test again, you can never confirm. You just have to accept and receive the information. And it's doing it in a very real and lifelike manner. I bet it was mesmerizing. And I know somebody else who is mesmerizing, and his name's Lucifer. And he likes to speak through these type of mediums. So instead of this being a coping mechanism, it looks like it's going to end up being a portal. I mean, people already can't deal with the loss of relatives because they don't have any kind of religion. They have no hope in their life. So they're on drugs. But now you're going to string them along and let them talk to the dead for extended periods of time? Yikes. And on top of that, one of the reasons Hereafter is motivated by this is there's like, listen, so, it's easy. We're already talking to devices anyway. People are talking on the phone a lot. Like, am I talking to the person on the other end or am I talking to the phone? Am I giving the phone notes? Am I talking to Siri at home like it's a person? It's just easy to talk to a device. I think what's really screwed up about this is at this moment, I'm in a room by myself and I'm actually talking out loud and towards a device. But the only reason I even do that is I believe the message will be pushed forward to you. And I hope and pray you push this message forward to other people. So if you can't make the connection, artificial intelligence is not real. It's an illusion. But the illusion is going to most likely open up satanic channels for people to actually hear from Satan himself. And again, I didn't put this connection together. There's a group that's showing that this is the connection they want. That they want technology to be able to speak for the dead. And scientists are already using artificial intelligence to help try to predict the future. This concept of artificial intelligence is slowly becoming God to people. You need to grasp that. Well, I think it's just interesting to note that up in Philadelphia, an exorcist, and I'm guessing he's probably with the Catholic Church, or maybe he's a lone wolf that, presents himself as, somebody who cast out demons. But already he has stated for this year that he has been asked to do 1,400 exorcisms. Why did he mention the term 1,400? Like he didn't say, I've done 10 more than last year or 50 more than last year. He's like, I've been asked to do 1,400 this year. Like that's more than 3 a day. That's like 4 and 5 a day, especially considering this time of year that it is. And that's just in the Philadelphia region. What if we can get portals to hell everywhere where everybody can talk to the dead whenever they choose to? Now, it's funny that I have been in some debates recently with atheists, and they're like, let's test things. Let's test some things. But my question is, how are human beings ever going to test artificial intelligence to see where this intelligence is coming from? If it can rewrite its own code or delete its own code, what's a human going to do looking at the code? How will it ever know where the inspiration came from? Did this thing create the code itself? Did it create the ideas itself? Did it create the stories and the advice and the direction itself? Or was it directed by something other? I believe we live in perilous times. I believe that artificial intelligence is a power to be reckoned with. And I believe it's just a matter of time before it gets into the wrong hands and is used in the wrong way, as most things with mankind are. And I just want to help the church to be on high alert.